Hey guys, it's me, SkyPixelGamer, and today we shall be talking about one of the most infamous animals on Cenozoic survival, the Smilodon. Now, this is based on my personal experiences with the animal, and if you disagree, be civil in the comment section, and heck, we might even have a nice talk about said creature. Also, I recommend you do your own research on these animals, as I will most likely not be correct on all the statements I make. Well, let's dive into the video. Smilodon, unlike their common name, Saber-Toothed tiger suggests, they are non-fat, closely related to tigers, as they are in a subfamily called Metrodontinae. Smilodon means scalpel tooth or two-headed knife tooth. Speaking of its name, its common name can be spelled saber-tooth or saber-tooth, depending on where you live. We shall be talking about 2 out of the 3 Smilodon species instead of 1, which are Smilodon Populator and Smilodon fatalis. These cats are pretty similar but share some differences, such as in size. Both of these cats were large and were much more robust than modern cats from the subfamily Panthera. They sacrificed speed for being robust because of their prey choice, being from the size of a Mastodon to the size of Macrauchenia. They could have performed these hunts by being in packs, as there has been evidence of Smilodons going to old age and even showing healed fractions and such, suggesting that they could have supported each other like other social carnivorous mammals. Now, size can vary between the two species, but Smilodon Populator is bigger on average, reaching up to 220 to 400 kilograms or 420 to 880 pounds. Some estimates say 961 pounds. Smilodon Populator could reach lengths of 6.83 feet, while Smilodon fatalis, being smaller, reaching up to 160 to 280 kilograms, or 353 to 617 pounds, and 6.56 feet long. Their height varied slightly as well, as Smilodon fatalis was 100 meters, or 3.28 feet tall to shoulder, while Smilodon Populator was 120 centimeters, or 3.93 feet tall to shoulder. Smilodon fatalis is most likely the most well-known and complete out of the other Smilodon species. The two animals would have met even though Smilodon Populator only lives in South America, as Smilodon fatalis, on the other hand, lives in both North and South America. The two animals had lived with each other, as Smilodon fatalis lived from 1.6 million to 10,000 years ago, while Smilodon Populator appeared 1 million years ago and lasted to 10,000 years ago. Now, we will start to talk about their key characteristic, their fangs. While Smilodon's teeth could have been used for holding onto their prey, this would have been risky as the teeth could break, which would hinder its ability to hunt. So it's much more likely that Smilodon mostly used them for killing blows, but there has been evidence to show they did occasionally try to use them for biting struggling prey, but they were from individuals with broken or damaged teeth. While Smilodon was an apex predator, that did not mean it did not have competition for resources. Such competition would have been dire wolves, which may have also snagged the occasional Smilodon cub if the chance was given. Keligans would have been a threat to a lone Smilodon if in a pair or pack, and even without the numbers, their fast kicks and heavy blows from their beaks could do some serious damage if the cat was not careful. American lions, being bigger than both Smilodon species, would have made Smilodon think twice before attacking it. Modern Pantherans, such as cougars and jaguars, short-faced bears, which could have killed an unwary Smilodon, and Homo sapiens. Both Saber-Toothed Cats also were most likely good jumpers. Both Smilodon species went extinct around 10,000 years ago because large prey animals started to die off, leaving sabers not being able to catch the smaller, more nimble herbivores. This allowed Pantherans such as jaguars to be able to rule, as they did not sacrifice all their speed for power. The final kicker for these large cats were Homo sapiens. Yes, us, as we hunted the same large megafauna as they did, and maybe even hunted them. I mean, they might have hunted us, but still, this was so bad that they went extinct only around 3,000 to 3,500 years after humans arrived to the Americas. We have found tufts of hair, skin, and bones from tar pits that would have caught and killed the animals. Now, you may be wondering why I mentioned 2 species of Smilodon instead of 1. Well, it's because there will be 2 Smilodon species in Cenozoic survival's history, them being Smilodon fatalis and Populator. This is because the Smilodon from the testing branch has different stats than the Smilodon from the original version of the game. The devs said they were going to replace the Smilodon Populator with Smilodon fatalis. Now, while the one in testing is not officially fatalis yet, as they are going to actually replace the 2 Smilodon species with each other, I am going to be referring to them as Populator and Fatalis, as their stats are slightly different in both games, like how the two individual species were in real life, and to also cover both their stats as two different individuals, making it easier to follow. But one thing stays the same for both sabers. They get little to no food from a lot of things like wolves and quaggas. Most of the roster are just snacks for them. Now, while it's accurate, God is it annoying trying to run around the map to find one decently sized animal to hunt. So first up, we have Smilodon Populator, aka current Cenozoic survival saber. Its stats are really good for its size, as both genders have the same amount of health, at 328 HP and 35 damage with their basic attack. But if you press F, it'll do an attack that will do 110 damage and 5 bleed, which is massive, and kills a good percent of the roster in 3 hits or less. Smilodon has 60 stamina and is in between a quagga and cave bear in speed. Smilodon also has serious healing, which allows it to take higher amounts of bleed better than other animals its size. Now, being a saber in current Cenozoic survival gives you a few perks, such as having no real animals that want to fight you. Even days don't want to have to sit out a saber's bleed. And you have a good bit of health and good health regeneration, which allows you to hunt bigger prey than yourself. Now, saber does come with drawbacks, such as not being the fastest, or having the best stamina, and having a long recharge time to use your F attack. Saber does not have any truly unwinnable matchups in 1v1 terrestrial combat besides the Daeodon. But here are some problematic creatures that might be hard for a new or mid-tier player. These being a pack of at least 5 or 6 wolves, Daeodons, rhinos, kinda, mammoths, kinda, and a quagga herd. So let's talk about the easier matchups, being the mammoth, to me, personally. Mams, also known as mammoths, are not too hard to beat, but can become very hard if used right. So mams have a back and front attack, but they don't have side attacks, and they can't outturn you as they turn as fast as a semi-truck. So you can just slap the sides with your clicks to do some fast bleed, then occasionally do the F attack, or you could just go full-on F attack and try going for the damage route. Now, if the mammoth is using a tree, that complicates things. First, if a mam does this, you should fight it in a group and try to bait it out or go for the rear, as it will be hard going for the sides on a tree circler. I mean, it's better than getting hit by the tusk. Next, we have a pack of wolves. Now, they may seem scary at first, but you can one-shot them with your F attack, but it leaves you very vulnerable for a whole entire 4 seconds. So you should do a mix of the F attack and basic attack. A wolf will have to try and heal if you hit it twice with a normal attack, which can give you more time to possibly kill another wolf without being killed first. You can also try to go into deep enough water for a wolf to swim in, but shallow enough for a saber to walk on, as this leaves a wolf vulnerable, as they cannot use their evasive techniques to bait your F attack. Both wolves and sabers have similar swimming speeds, so you could possibly catch a swimming wolf by doing this. Now, rhinos? I mean, if a pack of sabers even breathes on a rhino the wrong way, it's dead, so not much to say there besides hit-and-run tactics. Also, a quagga herd. Specifically unrealistic quagga herds, run. They're wolves, but on steroids. Don't do it. Plus, quagga herds are faster than you, so just avoid them unless they are a realism herd. Then you can try to hunt them, but you will most likely not succeed. The only good way of hunting them is to do it at night and get a pack of around 4 or 3 sabers and coordinate an attack on one quagga. If you all land a hit, it will die of bleeding. Here's a good example of what I mean. Granted, it was an elk, but it should work generally the same with a quagga, especially since they are slower. But overall, quaggas will be one of the hardest animals to hunt, at least when their babies don't run at you at Mach 7. And finally, days. First, only attack them in a pack, and second, play smart around them. Besides that, I don't know what to say. A competent day can kill 2 sabers, so yeah, I don't recommend fighting them unless you have a decent sized pack. Okay, so now let's go to the Cenozoic survival testing saber, aka Smilodon Fatalis. Its stats are similar and were the same for a while, but it got nerfed. Its damage went down from 110 to around 60 to 80 damage. Now, this is not confirmed, it's just an estimate based on how many hits it takes to kill a wolf. And the saber's health is slightly less. I recommend taking this section of the video with a grain of salt, as I am not the best with the Cenozoic survival testing version of Smilodon. From what I can tell, it's mostly the same as the old saber, but it did get nerfed to where the epithet does not one-shot, but two-shot wolves. So, the mix of attacks is even more important now. Also, health and healing got nerfed, so you have to be more careful when going against bigger creatures. You also have a jump that I guess helps in mobility and fighting, but besides those, there's not much different about it. Now, I hear a lot of people talk about KOSing sabers or killing on sight sabers, and all I have to say is that it's realistic. Wait, let me explain. I know you are most likely saying that animals don't kill each other unless they need food, need to feed their offspring, or in self-defense, but if you look at carnivorous animals, most carnivores will kill or attack other carnivores who enter their territory. A good example of this is spotted hyenas and lions. Both are apexes of their continent, so they compete with each other, which causes conflict between the two species. Heck, carnivores including these two will occasionally raid each other and take each other's offspring. They usually don't overkill herbivores though. So if they stay in one spot, then just don't go there or set up a territory around them. That's how territories and competition work. Saber has 4 different color morphs, 1 free, 2 game pass, and only 1 devs can access. The free one, also known as the default, is more of a yellowish tan that has plain rosette spots similar to leopards. Has some counter shading, has a pinkish black nose, and has yellow eyes. The creature also has some black areas like the ears, lips, and the end of the tail. Also, the ears have white eye spots like that of a tiger's. From what I know, it is either not based off of any cat alive today and is more speculative, or it's kind of based off of a lion. Next we have the melanistic skin, aka KOSer skin. It is defined by being completely black with hard to see black spots. This Game Pass skin is based on melanistic leopards and jaguars, also known as black panthers. The next skin is a Game Pass and is called the erythrostic skin, also known as the strawberry skin. It is defined by an orangey red tint that can be hard to tell from a default from a distance. This skin is the only skin available to the public with a fully pink nose. This skin is based off of a strawberry tiger, a color morph of a tiger. Our last color morph is the leucistic saber skin. Devs sometimes use this skin to indicate they are a dev, or just because they can. I may get this wrong as this is mostly from memory and images that don't give a good view of the animal. The skin is all white. It is the only skin that's eyes are not yellow, as they are now blue, and has creamy colored rosettes. It may have a pink or a black nose, I don't remember. The animal is mostly based on leucistic lions and possibly other leucistic big cats. Just to clarify, leucistic and albino are 2 different things, as albino means to have no melanin, while leucistic means to have some melanin. They can't be both. Also, the Smilodons or some other Meteorodon's skull is used as the Cenozoic survival's logo. Well, this was a long one, and will most likely be one of the longest how to play as videos, just because of how well known sabers are and how controversial they are in the community. My thoughts on sabers are well-rounded animals that have their weaknesses and rely on large prey items in the server to survive properly. I think the animal does not need any changes besides a possible climbing mechanic for them, as they could have possibly been good climbers. And a neat mechanic could be sabers being bad at climbing down, which will make players think before they climb too high up a tree. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video on sabers, and see you on the next episode. Goodbye!